That's why, before I move on, that's why the Ahnaf, the later Ahnaf, they became lenient, but the earlier Ahnaf, they didn't. They say if someone took wages for adhan or for salah, someone took wages for salah, you cannot pray behind him. If someone came and led Taraweeh to you and they wanted to charge you for worship, because that worship wasn't for Allah, he wanted fees for it. So that makes it, they say you can't pray behind him. And Ahnaf are the only madhab, they're very strict. The original madhab of Ahnaf is that it's haram to take money for teaching Quran, something which is act of worship. Okay, later on, they said because of a need, if there is a need, and they became more lenient. But it gives you a reason why. Clear? When is an intention, a niyyah, valid? It has to have three things for worship, and our subject is salah, so we stick to salah. When is niyyah valid? It's valid if three things are present. Firstly, Islam. If a non-Muslim prays every salah 5 times a day, or a mushrik, he prays 5 times a day in first saf, it means nothing. Has to be a Muslim, right? Secondly, should have tamyiz, meaning can differentiate. Is not mentally, he has the mental capacity to know what I'm doing. He knows Fajr from Dhuhr, he knows Fard from Sunnah, he knows wudu from not having wudu, has some tamyiz, has a ability to differentiate the matters, okay? That's second. And thirdly, should have the knowledge of the action. You should have the knowledge of action. If an action happened without your knowledge, that is not, for example, you accidentally dropped a pound coin in a charity box. You didn't give charity. You didn't give charity because that was not your intention. It happened to fall in there. Example, yeah? So you should know what you're doing. So your knowledge of the action, to be able to differentiate action from non-action, knowing fard from sunnah, for example, and being Muslim. These three conditions are must for an intention to be correct intention. If any of this is missing, the intention is not correct. In case of salah, the niyyah, the intention must be there from the beginning of salah. If you started salah and you didn't have the intention to pray and didn't have the clarity, what am I praying? I'm praying nafil or am I praying fard? Am I praying dhuhr or am I praying asr? If you didn't have that, the salah is invalid. It has to be, the niyyah has to be present from the beginning till end in salah. But in some ibadat, they are different. For example, fasting, in some of the fasting, you woke up in the morning, you haven't eaten anything, you haven't done anything which invalidates fast, and you decide that I'm going to fast today. That's valid fast. Even though the day started after when the sun rose, you didn't have the intention. You woke up and then you said, okay, later on, you didn't want to do the breakfast, or you didn't like whatever the reason was, or you remember it was Monday, or it was Thursday, and you said, okay, I'm going to fast today. The intention came after the time of the action start. But you can build it up because the fasting, as long as you haven't done something which invalidates the fast, you can keep the fast. But with salah, it's a different type of ibadah, a worship, and you have to be in a certain condition. You can't find yourself in sajda and say, okay, this is I'm praying dhuhr from there on. You have to have the niyyah from the beginning. Yeah. Similarly, you can wear ihram, all right, and you can start journey for Hajj. As long as before your miqat, a place, you can make the intention for Hajj. So ibadat are different, but we are on salah. Salah is you cannot have beginning of salah. That's why it's important to know you can't begin salah. You can't come in, you see people standing Allahu Akbar, and then you go, oh yeah, Dhuhr, I'm praying Dhuhr. You can't do that. You have to know before you start. We are clear on that part? Good. So some of the things, just quickly repeat. You should be a Muslim. You should have tamyiz, meaning you should differentiate what's salah from what's not salah. You should be able to do ta'yeen. Your niyyah you should be able to specify whether I am praying fard or whether I am praying sunnah. Yeah? And niyyah is from heart, like we said before, yeah? It's not from tongue. Niyyah, the mahal of niyyah is the heart. You don't have to say nothing from your tongue. If you said, now we will, the scholars, some scholars said it is mustahab that you should do from the tongue as well. Some said it is not mustahab. Some went as far as to say it's a bid'ah. But there is no harm in doing the niyyah from the tongue if you don't consider it to be important. If you consider that I have to say the intention from tongue when you don't have to say it, then it will be towards innovation, right? But if a child, he has learned, so mother taught him, I'm praying 4 rakat, Dhuhr, the fard of Dhuhr, okay? He doesn't get confused. That's okay, but that's not required. What's required is being sure in the heart. This is the only requirement. To utter the niyyah is not a must, okay? But in some ibadat it is. For example, if you assume ihram, you're going for umrah, you have to say talbiyah. When you make niyyah, you have to say labbaik, Allahumma labbaik. You have to say from your tongue. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, had he taught us to utter the niyyah from mouth, from your tongue, then we would have the narration. But there is no such thing. Okay? But it is not that, if uttered is not a problem, as long as you don't consider uttering it a requirement, then it becomes a problem. Shall we go through madhab by madhab? They're not very different really. But really, we want to look at the matter fully. We go through madhab by madhab, but the idea is to actually understand the scope we are working with. Yeah?